I want to introduce some really special people. My first mentor and coach, the guy that changed my life, Andy Wells. What is up, Andy?
Hello, good sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. Happy to be with you today. My homie, my big brother, Ralph Anthony. My guy, how are you?
My guys, I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, my dude. And last but not least, my big brother, my business partner, Coach D. How you doing, D?
What's up, y'all? Let's get it going.
Let's get it going indeed. Today, I want to hold space for Andy, and I want us to listen to Andy and give him space to let us understand where he's at, how he's feeling, what he wants to share. Of course, Andy's going through a breakup with an incredible, beautiful, amazing human being who we love, Imi. And I want to open up and hear from Andy and hear where he's at.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm in a good place. And there's almost like a weird... This has been a really interesting journey. So for those who don't know, I was in a relationship with my girlfriend for 7 years. Her name is Imi. We added so much to each other's lives. And I think we began with the mission of like, every single second that we're together, let's build something. You build your life, I'll build mine. We'll build something beautiful in the middle there as well. And I think we always had this concept of like, nothing is forever. Like, I don't know where we got it from, but we just had this idea that like, even if you last until you're both 85 years old, one of you will die or both of you will die. No relationship lasts forever. No friendship, no business relationship. I know people don't sort of like to hear that, but we had an understanding of that. So we were able to be grateful and make the most of it. But there's been this weird transition now where I've done a video and I've said, you know, here's what's happening. Here's why we're splitting. This is something that we've talked through for the last probably 2 or 3 years. Like there was an incompatibility in the relationship. I wanted non-monogamy. She wanted monogamy. And we're sort of separating. There's been this weird situation or weird feeling of almost like the two of us grieved for a few days and processed everything and we're good now. But a lot of people aren't. And so there's a lot of people around us saying like, you guys are faking it, or you should be sadder, or you're not supposed to be this like healthy in a breakup. You're supposed to just cut your ties and she needs to just fuck off, or you need to fuck off and cut contact, because we're still sort of running the business that we built together a little bit. And we're going to slowly transition away from that because I don't think that's what we want long term. But it's been an interesting position to be in. And I've noticed this a lot as well with, I mean, pretty much everything in life. If you have a very maybe stoic, or I might say like well-adjusted, maybe that's a judgment, but well-adjusted view of a breakup or a rejection, or someone doesn't want to sign up for your coaching program. If you're pretty healthy and you're like, yeah, man, it's all good, beautiful, like we don't want to do this anymore, let's go separate ways. A lot of people project their own sort of feelings or how they might feel on that. And so I've been almost like, I won't say gaslit, I think that's a strong word, but there has been just a little hint of that, of people saying like, you're not really okay. I don't think you and Imi are really okay. You know, it's only been 5 days. You guys should be at each other's throats. But that just isn't our experience. I don't think it's what we were ever leading towards with each other. And it's an interesting idea. Grief brings up a lot of different feelings in people, a lot of different ways that they deal with that. Rejection is the same thing. If we want to talk about something a little bit lower down there, you know, you walk up to a woman, you say you're cute, she says I have a boyfriend. A lot of people would go, beautiful, I hope you guys have a great relationship. Cool, I'll go talk to the next woman. And a lot of people think I must have done something wrong. It must be because I'm ugly. Ravi, you are one of those people. I used to be too. I should have done something better. I should have been more of an alpha male. It's like, how does you being an alpha male make her want to break up with her boyfriend? Sometimes it will sure fit, but you know what I mean? And so I think these, like, I'd love to maybe get into a discussion with the rest of you, and we can talk about grief, or we can talk about like heartbreak, or we can talk about even just like low level rejection, or in a business sense, someone doesn't want your product or your service. The mind can sort of play tricks on you and go, it must be a shit service. I must be a shit coach. I have nothing to offer. I'm a loser. I shouldn't be doing this. So yeah, maybe I'll open it up to the rest of you. What have your experiences been with rejection or grief or anything like that?
Yeah. So I'm going to comment on this, and I want to bring Ralph in actually, because I think Ralph's got a lot of relationship experience, and also comment on like some of his highs and lows in business. But for myself, My experience with heartbreak when it first happened, my first one was in your program, Andy. A lot of my first were in your program, losing the virginity, all that. A lot of the first business wins, all that, right? But it was also first heartbreak, right? And I remember being absolutely devastated, as in, it was my first time. It was like world-ending pain. I remember we did a coaching call. I remember you helped me understand, how no matter how awesome the experience and how great the gal was and how you had a shared vision and whatever else, there will be others. And this is a journey, and you grow from it, you learn from it. What I had in that time was an insight into like the frailty of the human condition that gave me an appreciation for being alive, right? As bittersweet as that sounds, the context for this is I was quite hurt by some behavior on the part of this girl I was dating. And it was the first time I've experienced this type of pain. The friendship and the support and the brotherhood I had around me, right? And how much these people cared about me did something that was remarkably healing for me at a deeper level. How my friends called me and, like Pow, the Dom, a few others, and helped me understand, Ravi, you're at the start of a journey. Like, these guys have been through all these things. They've done all this. They've been in it for years and years. And like, Ravi, you started late. You're going to have to learn these things. But as I got over that, and it only took a few days, I can say it was very interesting. On the other side of that, there was a very special moment where I gained a certain level of self-trust in myself. A few days before that, I was in like earth-shattering pain. 3 days later, I was approaching women and getting numbers and getting a date. And it taught me something about myself as a man. And it was that as long as I keep growing and staying on this journey, I will succeed. I will win. It's inevitable, right? And it taught me something about resilience and how you can be in like level 13 pain and honestly not a few days later like have wins again. That's happened to me so many times in my life. I've went from darkness, bad experiences, to light and beauty and incredible wins. And I've just seen it so many times at this point to where rejection and these sorts of things, you learn so much about yourself in them. They expose your wounds. They expose things that we still need to work on and parts of our mindset that we need to learn to develop. And of course, it's a journey. But I almost feel like now I like the objective reality that is shown to me when I have these experiences. I like what I learn. I like how I grow from it. I like that it allows me to be better. Right? That's my take. Ralph, how do you feel about this?
Firstly, Andy, really interesting how other people always want to chime in on their opinion of your breakup. And like, oh, shouldn't you guys be more upset and all this? It's just like the only people that understand this relationship as you and Amy. And so
exactly.
Anyone else
100%.
is trying to stay to you or come in with this opinion, like fucking so much of that can be so destructive. So I wish you well with that. You seem very emotionally mature, so I know you're going to be absolutely fine. And given you're in this space, the men in this space are just fascinating. They're relentless, and they got this relentless need to just, right, I'll come out of this and I'll be better and things will improve. And Ravi's got that. Ravi's picked that up over a lot of pain and strife. Luckily, I don't know, I just had that young as a kid. I had a masculine father who instilled these things into me. But heartbreak is an interesting one, man. Heartbreak is a privilege. I think it's a privilege for every man. I think it's a graduation for every man. I've done some of my best work after heartbreaks. I've broken my own heart. I loved girls and knew I had to end it and walk away. I think I'm going through a breakup myself now. I know it was only 2 months. It wasn't an official thing, but I broke up with her a couple of days ago. We mutually walked away from each other. So this is funny. Like Tate says, like I'm almost breaking up with a different chick every couple of weeks. So it's become very normalized to me because I haven't had a long-term stable relationship now for a few years. So I'm just like in and out of some of these relationships. So it's become normalized to me. But it's incredible the pain that men go through with it. And I think you were talking about turning pain. Coach D's good at turning pain into power. Yeah, man, I just take my ass back in the gym and I pump and you need to feel good about yourself. You know, heartbreak does a lot of damage to your self-esteem, but if you're already quite a confident guy, you'll just be fine the next day and you'll be approaching and you'll have the abundance that you need in this life. So I think people like us are fascinating. It's a pleasure to meet Andy and to be on a pod with him. I'd like to hear what Coach D talks about. I'm sure he's come across a lot of heartbreak, and I think it really defines you. Like, which direction do you go after this heartbreak? A lot of men go down certain directions, and a lot of men just rise out of the ashes like the phoenix. So it's such a fascinating time in a man's life. I actually I like breakups. I know that sounds really weird. It might sound a bit weird, but it fuels my fire.
Right.
Coach, what you got for us on this?
I would say in my beginning stages of learning who I was as a man and building my confidence, especially, you know, being like a fob from overseas and who was also needy in nature, broken until I built the resilience of who I am right now. Oh my God, I was a fucking bitch. Dude, I remember I would cry in my fucking grandfather's basement, whip out the cartoon porn. I don't even want to tell you my history, the shit that I'd watch, just jerk off to everything to go to sleep. Walk to fucking...
Once you see Andy's website, you can share all you want. Don't even worry.
I don't want to see... He told me what he does. I told him I want to see it.
Oh, you did? All right, all right.
Yeah.
This is the dude that got me into whipping bitches.
Yeah. I was like,
wait, excuse me. Can I please clarify? I have nothing against cartoon porn, but I feel like you just talked about cartoon porn and then said you should see what Andy does. My website has nothing to do with cartoon porn or anything like that, but much love to the people that are into that.
The furry community and all those.
Right. But that just goes to show you how messed up I was in the head, man. Like, just a broken kid, never talked to girls, virgin in his late 20s. I remember I would go to 7-Eleven, get burritos, just fat ass nigga just jerking off. Oh my God, dude. These are all like suppressed memories I don't want to talk about. But and when she would break up for me, I would be like needy, crying. Like, it was so bad that I would call him, even though I was breaking up, like, why'd you break up on me? What did I do wrong? Because I didn't understand what it mean to be a man. And remember living overseas where you weren't allowed to speak to women in a religious place that I was, and then coming and finally being able to speak to women, I saw them as like angelic creatures, as like, you know, the Holy Grail. So, you know, after like a couple of breakups, I started to become more grounded and tell myself, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? You're here there masturbating, you're here jerking off, you're getting fat. Get the fuck out the apartment and go approach and go out with the community and go out with your bros. And I started to develop this like psychopathic confidence. I would literally go up to like approach in New York City and I would like I'll tell like these random chicks, I'm like, yeah, my girl left me, so I'm fucking talking to you now. What's your name? And just the level of like authenticity and groundedness and strength in that. She would like literally laugh. She's like, what? What are you say? What's wrong with you? I was like, yeah, she left my ass for being a bitch and I don't want to be a bitch anymore. So let me get to know you. And after that, I started to like realize like, yo, if you be raw and authentic as a man, because at the end of the day, you know, we have a community, we have a brotherhood, you have people, but as a man, it's your duty to get up yourself, to save yourself, to say, yo, I'm not here to feed you, but you have to feed yourself as a man. And that's what I learned because I was leaning on others for help. Like, all of you guys are my brothers and we all have our support. But truly, if a man wants to change, he has to have the willingness and the power within his core to get up. And that's what I was doing when I was crazy. I was going out, I was approaching, and I was so slowly learning as a man that I was wasting my time being a depressed idiot. But it's like I had to manifest that. I had to change my direction. So, you know, as much as like Ralph was joking too, I became a man who's in love with like pain, because pain made me who I am today. Pain made me realize like the world is not like a rainbow go happy place. It's what you make it as a man. and what you believe in, you can make that happen as long as you take that pain and you turn it around into something meaningful and something beautiful. But that can only happen if you're strong enough to take it. And me jerking off, that wasn't it. I had to go out there and change what I want, when I want, and how to get it.
This is interesting. So I think we have a lot of synergy here, right? So what Coach shared was about the stories that we tell ourselves about the experiences that we're having. So me and Andy talked about this last night. We have the opportunity to tell what story empowers us. We get to choose, and we can step into stories that allow us to see a lot of opportunity, because the opportunities are out there. The opportunities are being seized every day. It just depends how big we're thinking. So it's almost like, from what everyone shared here today, it's not the heartbreak that destroys men or puts us in a downward spiral. It's rather the stories that we tell about what it means. Because if you look at a guy like Andy, he's grateful for the experience. He's continuing to grow. He in a very healthy manner. I mean, Ralph's point was great. People who understand, I've watched all of Andy's stuff. I understand how much Andy and Amy work on the relationship, and they're like emotionally healthy people, right? So they can progress. But it's really like what we tell ourselves that can make or break us. And the stories that have shaped everyone here, right? Stories that have shaped me, Ralph, Andy, Coach. So I want to like tap into this a little here and explore some examples of pain that perhaps you recognize you've inflicted on yourself. I think Ralph said that, Andy said that too, from stories you guys have told yourself after heartbreaks, rejections, or whatever. Does anything stand out for anyone?
Yeah, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
A billion stories, man. I have 10 billion of these stories. I know we all do. So one of my favorite teachers is a lady named Byron Katie, and she has a quote, "Nobody else can hurt me. That's my job." And I love that quote because what she means by that is nobody else can disappoint me or make me angry or sad. What happens is I tell a story that this person disappointed me, and with that story, I disappoint myself. The only reason I'm disappointed is because I had an expectation of how something should work out. And then if it doesn't work out that way, then I get frustrated at that. I'm arguing with reality. This is basically a core tenet of Stoicism, is don't argue with reality. That doesn't mean sit there and just be a victim to life and, oh, I can't change anything. But the very first step to changing something is accepting what it currently is and then doing something about it. It's like the first step of the Alcoholics Anonymous program. Accept that I'm fucking struggling and I can't quit this alcohol, and then ask for help. Or I like to use the map analogy. If I want to use Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever to get to a destination, the first fucking thing it asks me is, where are you right now? Share your location or type in where you are right now. If I say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you my location, it goes, well, I can't give you directions. I don't know where you are. And you go, but I need to get to McDonald's. Tell me how to get to McDonald's. And it will say again, where are you now? I need to know where you are. And so the first step of starting to embrace these teaching lessons that pain or suffering or whatever is trying to give us is accepting it. Right now I'm hurting. Right now I'm not happy. You know, like Coach D, you said it in a very funny way, but you're like, your very first sort of beginnings in this journey were like, I'm not fucking happy. This sucks. That was me too, brother. It's like, I'm depressed. I'm suicidal. I don't like this. All right, that's the truth. That's where I am right now. I'm not going to keep covering that up with, you know, you talked about cartoon porn. For me, it was just like normal porn. Same thing, brother. I got to a point where I was looking at porn for like 8 hours a day. I wasn't even jerking off to it. It was just
I was there.
Bro, so you know, man, it's like you're just watching it so that you don't have to feel. And you kind of have it on in the background.
It was like a dopamine.
Brother, it's a drip feed of dopamine that is like slightly stimulating you, but not even much at that point. Because like after you've heard the 10,000th woman moan, it all kind of sounds the same. You sort of give yourself that like dead brain, or I call it zombie brain. I was doing the same with alcohol, and I hit it under the guise of like, I'm teaching myself how to make cocktails. And so I bought these cocktail books and I had like 50 different types of alcohol. And I was just basically permanently drunk for like a year or two, even to the point where I'd be tipsy when I went to work. I don't know how I held down a job, but I used that job as self-medication too. I was a manager, which meant I could work as much as I wanted. Like I was on a salary, so I could do overtime and like the company didn't care. There was a point where I was working like 16 hours a day. Like I would go to work at like 2 a.m. in the morning before the store even opened, like hours before it opened. And I would stay there until like 7 or 8 p.m. at night, because then I didn't have to go home and feel. At least I would be around other people and they could sort of force me to pretend to be, I guess, as an escape. I binge watched TV shows, video games, any self-medication you can think of, I fucking did it. And all of that was an escape from the current reality. And so I think the very first step for, I won't even just say a man, but for any human being that wants to start healing or start turning pain into like progress, you got to accept where you are right now. I think all of us were able to, at the start of our journey, say like, all right, I'm done. This is it. I can't keep going down this pathway. I'm in too much pain. So Ravi, I know I completely didn't answer your question. Do I have any examples of when I lied to myself? I feel like that is the example of me lying to myself. I would say, I like drinking alcohol. It's fun. No, it's normal to watch porn for 8 hours a day. I got to a point where I was agoraphobic and I literally couldn't even leave the house. Like I lost my job and I would just sit at home and I burned through like $30,000 in savings over like a year period because I just didn't leave the house. And I was like, that's normal. I just don't like to go outside. It's normal to not have friends. Like these are the kind of lies that I told myself. It's normal to want to kill yourself every day. It's normal to like have a completely dysfunctional relationship at that point with my partner, who was like basically the only person in my life. That's normal. It's normal for a man to have nobody in his life except his partner. I pushed my parents away. I pushed my family away. Like these were the lies that I kept telling myself. Those are big lies. But I think if every man or if every human being wants to start this journey of self-improvement, we have to start admitting, or it requires the willingness to admit those stories that you might be telling yourself right now, which are full of shit.
Wow.
No, that's strong. I'd say it's like mental gymnastics. So, every time like when me and Ravi we talk about like funny stuff of the past, I stutter a little bit because I'm like embarrassed to like dig up those memories, and I'm laughing right now because I just literally remember of how much of a fucking incel I was. But no, I would lie to myself. I was like, oh man, you watch cartoon porn, you like anime, that's chill, bro. It's okay if you go to 7-Eleven and get fat and take a big ass dump and shit, and you people just don't understand you a little bit quirky. You're weird. And my mom, and I remember my mom and dad said, why are you so emotional? Why are you so sad? And I was like, I don't know. And I had such like low energy, or just that weird kid trying to like desperately trying to make like friends. And then just one day it just hit me, and I'm just like, that's when I got into the community of other men who was like going out there talking to women, self-improvement, stuff like that. And then it hit me in my brain like, dude, you're getting older, you're getting fatter, you're getting uglier. Stop making these excuses. Stop playing these video games because you like fantasy. Stop liking anime. I still do. It's because it was a part of my upbringing of who I am. But I'm more grounded and more healthy as a man. And I tell everybody that come to me, definitely when it comes to coaching, when they talk about like, oh, it's my race, it's my height, it's my accent, it's my body weight. I don't have hair. I don't have a beard. My nose is too big. And I'm just like, motherfucker, you see my ass? And I would show him a picture like, you see, I had a fucking thick accent, dude. Then they'll try to make like excuses. Oh, you're handsome now. I'm like, well, I put the fucking work in. If you put the work in too, you can accept it too. And guess what? It don't matter what race you are. It don't matter the height. Yes, they play a role. But if you are a man and accept the fucking cards you've been dealt with and put your ego and emotion aside, you, my friend, will be able to get something in life regardless.
Yeah. This is see, I like the idea of like turning points, and I think these changes happen for people at a really subconscious level, and they're going on, and they start to crystallize over time. I've told my story on Andy's podcast before. People may or may not have checked that one out, but I'm another example of someone who frankly did tell themselves a bit of a fantasy for quite a while about how things will just work out, right? So I was avoiding, right? what specifically I'm referring to is, I tried every year to lose my virginity since the time I was 18 and failed. Multitude of reasons for that, mostly anxiety, low self-esteem, limiting beliefs, adverse experiences, all manner of chaos, right? However, at around 26, 27, I can say for all intents and purposes, I'd pretty much suppressed everything and just ignored it and just bottled it up and was just putting all my focus into my work at the time as a project manager and wanted just to put blinders on and ignore life and reality and just absorb myself in work. Now, what was happening was when I'd walk around and see couples together, I would die inside. I don't know if you have ever experienced this. People will understand this experience, but there's like a trauma response that a guy can have where it's like a world-ending pain. And it would trigger me. And I would have it and just tell myself, no, Robbie, keep working, keep applying yourself in your job. One day you'll lose weight. And again, I was like 270 pounds every year for like years. Like I just would tell myself, no, I'll lose weight. I'll get all my shit together and I'll be okay. Around COVID, I started watching this guy's content, Andy, because I'd followed him for like 10 years prior. Reason why, all the stuff he just talked about, that's why I followed him. All the challenges he had, he was exactly like me. Anyone who's been in my chats and has seen my behavior in the past, this was Andy too, which is why I trusted him. And started listening to that podcast. And that was a time in my life of a lot of anger, a lot of being very pissed off at Andy, like arguing with him a lot. I couldn't deny what he was saying. I can't, because he had all the same issues and did the work and overcame them. There's no argument I could put to you because he proves that no matter what situation, he's killed your excuses. And that's what bothered me. Because there's nowhere to hide anymore because he did it. And he lost all that weight. And if he can do it, I can too. So my turning point was around, I'd gotten several promotions, was getting ahead, had a load of staff and stuff. And 3 weeks before my 30th birthday, and again, this is after like listening to Andy's podcast, like 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, getting up at 5 a.m. because I knew there was something I needed to do here. But I wasn't ready to confront it. But 3 weeks before my 30th, it just hit me. I was at work one day and I just realized I'm going to turn 30 a virgin. And my entire life, I've lied to myself that I'm just going to make it. I'm just going to make it. I'm going to become successful. And it was at that moment I realized, Ravi, you're not going to make it. And I fucking projectile vomited everywhere and I just left. I went home and desperately tried to get in touch with Andy. Just went back on the Good Looking Loser forums, just tried to find what the fuck is he doing. Fortunately, he had a website. Fortunately, he was doing coaching, made a log. It's history after that. Joined the program. Every year I failed to lose weight. Joined his program, lost 100 pounds. Every year I failed to get my first date. Joined his program, went on 100 dates in a year. Dude got my shit together and I appreciate it. And, we've only got more success from there. And, and now doing things in this world. But the point here is, that was, I did that to myself. It was because of thoughts, beliefs that I told myself. And once you do things that you thought were impossible, which I've done so many times in my life now, you no longer believe it's impossible, right? Coach D is an example of this. Like, he's an incredible individual, like really outlier, right? You guys should get to know him more, and we will in our journey. But he helped me a lot. And I can say he just done a lot for me. And I demanded a business partnership with him. I wasn't going to quit. And there was no way I was going to take no for an answer. And I got one. And there's so many other things that if I want it, I will get it.
This motherfucker was persistent.
Years.
You have no idea how many times I told him, no, you're too mentally
3-4
fucked in the
times.
head.
He did.
Like, dude, your headspace, man. I don't want to. I mean, I'm a mental case too, so I'm just like two mental cases together. It's just like that's a recipe for disaster right there. But I saw that he was like improving. I was like, okay, you know what? He reached a certain level of groundedness and masculinity. He understands my mission to help man in the core. Fuck it, let's do it. But he spoke very highly about my brother Ralph and my brother Andy, and I was like, oh, these guys sound like really grounded men, and I see it now how much he loves and respects you guys as family. So I just want to say, thank you for the bottom of my heart, helping Ravi become the man he is today too. Because when I first met him during his journey, he had so much hate, and I would like literally call him. This guy was suicidal. I would call him. He just nonstop hate blasting. I'm Indian, sub 5. It's over. Fuck the world. Fuck women. Nobody liked me. And I just kept saying, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Dude, you're 6. Every time he'll tell me something, I say, you're 6'5". I don't want to hear it. Oh, I'm Indian. I said, bro, I'm bald. You have hair. I don't want to hear it. He said, I'm ugly. I said, I used to be ugly too. So I don't want to hear it. And then, it was just back and forth. Just say like, feel bad for me, coach. I'm like, I don't want to hear it, bro. And we would just go out, and all of a sudden he started to get like, I remember the boot camps, man.
Yeah, got results.
He would get like, he's like, yo, why are women talking to me? I was like, dude, is your inner game. In my mind, I'm like, your inner game is that fucking bad? He's like, why are they talking to me? I thought my entire life I was a curry cell. I'm like, no, dude, you are a tall dinosaur who was just messed up in the head. And guess what, bro? You got some masculinity to you. And now he believes that, there's no point of being a victim anymore. Whatever you have, you can put it to the side and get what you want in life within means and reach.
Bro, and my favorite saying that I say there, when a guy comes to me with the same sort of like, I guess it's a fear, like, I'm Indian or I'm Asian, no woman's going to like me. My favorite response is, a lot of women out there are not as racist as you.
So good.
Damn, that's a good one, man. I'm gonna have to steal that. I'm gonna have to steal that.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. That's facts.
I want to chime in here. You guys have some fascinating stories. You come from a difficult. It all started out quite difficult for most of you. I mean, I heard 8 hours of porn a day. I was like, what? Like that is a story and a half. To come from that and turn it around, and Ravi, virgin at 30, like this shit hits me hard hearing that, because I lost my virginity at 14. So like it was.
Oh my God, I hate you. Get out of it. Get off this podcast right now.
Yo, that shit was the opposite.
I know. Damn.
But look, we've all got those stories. I mean, I was like, I was bullied at school for a year really badly, and that was my turning point. But I guess the stories that I told myself, and the original question was a story that you tell yourself around the context, and the stories I used to tell myself always as a kid. And again, I really do think it comes from my masculine father and my 2 older brothers that were quite tough on me and that were pushing me like, come on, don't be a pussy, slapping me around, get to school, like, do it, fight the boy. Like my brother would stand there and play fight me, like, come on, what are you going to do to that kid tomorrow that called you something? Aren't you going to punch him like this? So I grew up in a household that was aggressive and manly. I had a soft, wonderful mother. I had 2 brothers beating me up, and my dad telling me I had to be a man, I had to be successful. So, so the stories I told myself were that every day, like leaving the house, I'd get to school, I'd be like, yeah, I am the man. Yo, like I can't take this bullying anymore. Smack. And I was a bad kid with a bad temper, so I was smacking a lot of people and getting into fights and getting into trouble at school, and I was the rebel. And that got me the girls. Wait, being the rebel and being the kid at school who was punching people, all of a sudden, it was like, because the smart geek at school, the introvert, wasn't getting any of the girls, and the rebellious guy who was macho and was tired of getting bullied and started throwing punches back, all of a sudden was winning the game, even though you shouldn't be punching people. But it was like, what that taught me, and the stories I told myself as a young kid, was to be like, you're the man. You got to do this. You got to boss this room. No, I don't care. There's no other way out of this. And I guess the influences as you were growing up, I'm sure there are things that happened in your lives growing up that this is why you were the way you were. But I just remember the story I had and the stories I told myself, it was masculinity all around me and shoved down my throat from a very young age. Like hearing your stories it's quite heartbreaking to hear that. But what's beautiful is you coming out of that and how you reacted to that rejection, how you all reacted to that difficult time, that level of self-awareness, like men understanding their emotions finally. Ravi sitting on his desk and being like, yo, wait a minute, I'm going to turn 30 and I'm a virgin. What the fuck am I doing? So it's, and finally doing something about it. It's also about just taking the first step. Ravi, after 3 days approaching girls, that's a really hard thing to do after a breakup. But I'd love to know, all of you, like, how do men get on that first step? Like, what's the first thing you can do? I remember saying to a fat friend of mine 3 days ago, I was like, just do one press up. Don't worry about going to the gym, because he now looks at the mountain. He's like, bro, how am I ever going to get to your stage? I'm like, come on, like, look where I'm starting. And
this is a great question.
And I said to him, do one press up. So I'd like to know if there was a magic pill I could give a guy to turn him from difficulty into a G, I would give it to him. And that would be an expensive pill. But what's the first thing you recommend your guys to do tomorrow?
Baby steps. You just answered the question, bro. Baby steps. This is everything I have in all of my content. So a lot of the time, you mentioned the mountain. I love that you said that. So many times we will look at the mountain ahead of us and we'll get intimidated. I did a video saying, stop looking at the fucking mountain. Don't look at how far you have to go. That will scare the shit out of you. You won't get started. Look down, look at your feet, look at the very next step forward that you can take. And rather than focusing on what you can't do, like a lot of people will say, I can't go out there and go to the gym. It's too hard. It's too scary. I'm 100 pounds, or I need to lose 100 pounds. I can't do it. I can't go and talk to the girl. I'm socially awkward. I'm autistic. I don't know how to do that. Stop telling me, or stop focusing on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. And if all you can do is walk around outside for 5 minutes and look in the general direction of one woman for 5 milliseconds, amazing. What a victory, my brother. That's incredible. That's more than you're currently doing. Let's focus on doing more than you're doing right now. This is the basis of books like Atomic Habit. There's another one called The Slight Edge. It's like, how can I be 1% better each week? And if 1% intimidates you, how can I be 0.1% better this week? If that intimidates you, like, this is how I came out of my own depression and suicide, was like, and my parents did this. This wasn't me. My parents were like, every day we're giving you a chore list. Today, all you are doing is washing the dishes. And I was like, I can't do the dishes. I was crying. I was just like heartbroken. I was going through a relationship breakup at the same time. I was like, I can't do the dishes. And they were like, just start. Honey, just start the dishes. And I'd do the dishes, then I'd go back to bed and cry. The next day, okay, you did the dishes, do the dishes again. Now see if you can dry the dishes after you wash them. Okay, I can do that. Go back to bed and cry. The next day, maybe I can do some vacuuming as well. Oh, look at me. Wow. I'm so amazing. I'm doing some vacuuming. And my brain was saying, this isn't working. This is doing nothing. This isn't going to make a difference. But if you just shut the fuck up and do it anyway, you'll find that over time it starts to add up. Before I knew it, I'm leaving the house. I remember calling my mother and saying, you are never going to believe where I am or what I'm doing. This was after like 2 weeks of, moving back in with them to fix all of this stuff. You're never going to believe where I am. And she's like, where are you, honey? I'm outside. I went to the shopping mall and I walked around for 15 minutes. Then I had to freak out and I had to leave, but I'm now walking home. I've been outside for 35 minutes now. And she was like, honey, that's amazing. That's insane. I can't believe you did that. That's amazing. The next day I go and do it again. I aim for 45 minutes. This is what I teach guys in my, like, if I give them an approach anxiety program, I'm like, go outside for as long as you possibly can. Give yourself that exposure therapy. Every second that you're out there, you are gaining something. You are building up. And so before I knew it, now I have a friend. Now I'm going to go apply for jobs. Then I get a job. Then I get promoted in that job. Then I move out. And then boom, suddenly my life is on track. There is no way in fucking hell I would have done all of that if my parents had said what people often say with depression, which is, you need to go and get a job. You have to get some friends. You have to go and exercise. I would have just like finished everything. I'm trying to say that in a YouTube friendly way, but I would have finished, my life would have finished. And so it has to be baby steps, like you said, Ralph. You answered the question yourself, brother. It's like, do one fucking push-up. And you're like, I can't do a push-up. Okay, imagine doing a push-up. Literally sit there for 5 minutes and think about how you would do that push-up. What would need to happen for that push-up to happen? In other words, if a goal intimidates you, break it down into smaller baby steps or smaller sub-goals and start working on that. A lot of guys never start because they're so intimidated by all the work that they have to do. I get that. It's scary. If I told Ravi you have to completely overhaul your life and do everything all at once, he would have been like, I can't fucking do that. Same with the rest of us. So start with tiny little baby steps.
Beautiful. And completely agreed. That's how I did it. That's how Andy did it with me. And I want to just also comment on how that mentality changes everything, because it gives you the keys to the universe. Yeah. The keys to the universe is long-term consistency. That, in my opinion, right? You have the right methodology and you stick to it, and you find something that works and you stay with it for a duration so long that most people think you're crazy. And that's how you win. It truly is. Yeah. One of the things that Andy used to tell me is like, think in terms of decades, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of what me and Dee do with guys now is about using a methodology. You start where you are, and we're going to move you all the way over here to what your vision is by just doing the basics and just scaling up over time. I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. So we go back to me and Andy's group. Okay, 270 pounds. I've got to lose however much. I've got also to drop my anxiety levels. I can't talk to anyone. I'm a virgin. Never been on a date. There's a list of 100 problems, right? And you know, Dee was sharing a little bit there, right, about how I was a bit of a pain in the ass to Dee. I was 100 times worse to Andy, right? Andy saw the worst of me.
Thank you for taking care of that half.
Yeah. No. Andy did the most ugly part of the journey was with Andy. Like, but he was the same.
But I want to interrupt and say you weren't as bad as you think you were. I could see the potential in you. I could see that you were just fucking desperate to be loved, man, by other men, by women, obviously, and I think more than that by yourself. I think you have this narrative in your head that you were some like arch nemesis of me or something, or some demon devil little child. You weren't, man. You were a guy that was so clearly in pain, and everything you were saying and acting from was coming from pain. But I don't think you were anywhere near what you think you were. I think there was a lot of lovability inside you. It just struggled to come out.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that, because I've often felt bad that I was behaving this way. But yeah, I know you're really cool with Andy. We talked about it several times, and we align in terms of the realities of that. And it's the patience and it's the ongoing love and support that does the transformation for people. So I'm there, right? And I just do this basic stuff, and the results are coming. And then I'm getting better experiences, and then I'm having like more meaningful experiences, and then I'm like changing, and then I'm making more friends, and then I'm being invited to different countries, then I'm traveling, then I've got new housemates, then like I get it in my brain, maybe I can start a business, and then I start getting customers, and then I go, it just goes insane from there. And then I'm like this guy, and I've like doing this really crazy stuff. Like I'm going around the world. I've got all these people I know now, and I'm permeating the depths of this like space, and I'm getting to know everyone, and I'm just in places I didn't believe I would be in, right? Just shocking stuff. Like all the guys I idolized and met and like was inspired by, everyone I got like brainwashed by and inspired by, they're in my life. They're genuinely friends at this point. Like for business, Vin, right? He's my business partner in my performance company. Like everyone who I wanted to make a connection with, I've done it. Like I've done outlier, just crazy people stuff from nothing. Ground zero, by just doing a very basic thing of I'm going to get up, I'm just going to chip away at it. Nothing else, nothing special, nothing Herculean, no David Goggins type of stuff. Regular man over here. I just do very basic things, but just keep doing them. And the reality is, I've seen the world. I've lived on the beach. I've done all these things just by doing very basic consistency. And the beauty of this game, and why I love it, why I sincerely love this stuff, every year you get better. If you're working on your body, if you're working on your business, if you're working on your relationships, every year you get better. Every year you have more incredible experiences, and the quality of them and the depth of them. If you are emotionally evolving and becoming more mature and grounded and well and everything else, you attract better outcomes, right? So this is just it's just so good. Now, the guy who's at the start, who's like, you know, you're thinking it's not going to work and all this sort of stuff, and like you have all these doubts. You're allowed to have those doubts. We all have them to this day. We're human, yeah. But what I like to think about is in terms of methods. And if I'm using a method and it has worked for another man out there, and I'm seeing green shoots, I will stick with it, and I will get into myself and look at the deeper nitty gritty and work out like, why am I not getting ahead? And I'll solve this puzzle. And if you just stay with any puzzle, no matter what it is, you will solve it. There's someone out there who's beat your excuses. There's someone out there, and he likes to use the example of a guy, quadriplegic dude. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a successful, happy life. There's loads of people like that, yeah, who don't. Something being difficult is not an excuse, right? Imagine all the great athletes we admire who have to compete against the most vicious, ferocious men in the world. They don't say, it's too hard, I can't beat Tyson Fury. They go in there and they get the job done, right? Being hard is not an excuse. Right. We wouldn't have Kobe Bryant, we wouldn't have Michael Jordan, we wouldn't have any of these amazing men. Humans are limitless, man. So embrace this stuff. It's sincerely the passion of my life. I love this. Self-improvement, to be clear. Like, I'm a total nerd about this stuff. And it's the most empowering thing I've ever seen. I believe in it so much, I want to give it to everyone. So, yeah, start small. Just exactly what Andy said. It's right.
I wanted to say, let me add to that. You got to take like a systematical approach. So definitely like when men who come see me, because I'm based in New York, I have other guys who came from overseas or other states, they come see me, like, show me in-person training, in-person confidence. And they see that I have like this magnetic aura that when I speak to women, like they're instantly attracted. They're like, dude, they kind of reach a certain level of like doubt. Because, I like the mountain analogy that you use. And they're like, dude, look at you. I'm like, yes, but think about the product that you're going to become. This is the product of me, of what I've become, of years of inceldom, suicidal thoughts, drinking, drugs, hating myself, messed up relationships, into a grounded man. Don't look at me. Focus on what you can become. I'm the idea of masculinity. Oh, but you're so aggressive. You're so ghetto. I'm like, you got that swag to you. I'm like, yes, this is the aura and energy of what I am as a man, but there's different ways to become masculine. And, especially like for more examples, I'll get a student who's like 5'5" and under. I'm too short to approach, Unc. I was like, guess what? There's girls who are 5'3" and 5'2". You're going to approach them. And he's like, damn it. He's like, and I got people like, oh, my accent is too thick. I can't. I was like, guess what? Tell you have a fucking accent and for her to bear with you. And she's like, and you know what? They would literally go up to her. She said, excuse my accent. I would like to have this conversation. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, where are you from? And he comes back to me, dude, she gave me a chance. She treated me like a human. And in my mind would be blown away, because I'm saying like, you guys are worthy of love, worthy of respect, but just take a systematical approach and see what you can become. If you're fat, you lose the weight. If you have an accent reduction. I had an accent. I would literally watch YouTube clips, I remember, of American action movies with my fob ass. Just like, yeah, I'm going to come out. I'm the Terminator. And I'll just repeat it in anime too. And just like, I got to get rid of this halal car accent, bro. But I would tell my friends, if there's a will, there's a way. Learn style. See what you can emulate. And then they'll come on me the excuses, but I'm not you. But I'm not Ralph. But I'm not Andy, but I'm not Ravi. But you could be you could take certain elements of who I am. You could take certain elements of Ralph. You could take certain elements of Andy. You could take certain elements of Ravi and me and combine it into a version of you. And I've seen clients like that I've helped. I have them on virgins, dry spells, suicidal, who made a lot of money, who would use excuses to just like how it makes us frustrated. But I said, put those excuses aside and see yourself as a human being. With flaws and problems that you can fix. And we take it one simple step at a time. If you have approach anxiety, just come out with me for a day. Even if you do open and talk to one girl, I am proud of you. You know why I'm proud of you? Because you're working on changing yourself. And guess what? Let's pick it up now. Let's do 2. Let's do 3. Let's do 4. All right, let's move on to numbers. Let's move on to dates. Let's move on to you speaking more of a man's phone. Let's move on to you making it fun now. But you see, it's our duty as men to help these underprivileged men who have been brainwashed, I would say, in their own victim mentality, who are hurt and damaged. You kind of have to hold their hand, because I'm considered like an uncle in the community, or like a big brother, because everybody knows I'm like the goofball that will have fun with you, but at the same time, I'm going to beat your ass if you come to me with like weak ass energy. So they know, like, oh shit, Uncle D's out in the field, coaching now. You better like come correct or else. But, I want to make it fun. I'm showing them like, guess what? Not everybody gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna be your type, or you're not gonna be their type. But guess what? If you run enough volume, if you just take the chance, be okay with taking a little bit of a pinch, a little bit of a slap, some kind of pain is gonna turn into small victories. And I like the fact that we're all talking about it. As I said, there's a system to the madness. But are you patient, and are you willing to go through that madness to become great?
Yeah.
Can I highlight something that you said before, D, which I think was beautiful? You said, you have these clients of whatever ethnicity. They walk up to a woman, they hit on her, they come back, they go, holy crap, she treated me like a human being. Yeah, because you treated yourself like a human being.
Amen. And I'd be baffled.
Bro, so many times we reduce ourselves down. I call it objectifying. So many guys out there, women do the same thing. So many guys out there objectifying themselves, saying, I'm a short guy. Bro, that's one part of you. And you're making it sound like that's the whole thing. Or I'm bald, or I'm this. That's objectification. That's why I said the racism comment before. Other women, like women out there, a lot of them are not going to be anywhere near as racist as a lot of guys are to ourselves. Same thing with like treating yourself like a human being. So if you start to believe in yourself and say, maybe I can give me a chance, guess what? Other people will. But if you walk around out there saying, who the fuck would date me? I'm a loser. Then it's like, what energy do you think you're bringing to them?
Right.
And why the hell should she love you if you don't love yourself? So I feel like that's kind of the theme of everything we're talking about here is if you want to call it belief, if you want to call it self-love, if you want to call it masculine energy, whatever you want to call it, but it's got to start with at least that little glimmer of hope of like, maybe, just maybe, there is some woman out there who'll give me a chance. I think I might be worth it. Let me go find out. You don't have to fully believe in yourself. You probably won't at the start, but like just give yourself that opportunity. Otherwise, you're essentially bullying yourself and saying, I'm not good enough. That's straight up bullying. I'm not good enough. I'm too short. I'm racist. Okay, go say that to some other guy. Go find some other guy on the street, walk up to him, a guy that's maybe a bit shorter, walk up to him and be like, bro, you're so short. You're never going to get laid. No one is ever going to love you. You don't deserve love. You're such a piece of shit. You shouldn't leave the house and you don't deserve friends. And I hope you suffer for the rest of your life. And if you ever try and be happy, I'm going to break you down. I'm going to systematically walk around and just harass you nonstop, 24/7 until you start to believe that you're a fucking loser. Go say that to some other guy and watch what happens. First of all, you'll break his fucking heart, or he'll punch you in the face, or there'll be consequences. But because it's ourselves and no one can see our own internal monologue, we just go hard with the harassment campaign. And we're innocent in that we don't know that we're doing that. Most of these guys don't realize how hard they are on themselves. But like, would you do that to someone else? Would you say that shit to a brother? Fuck no, because it's just literal like abuse. Like, I think that would be borderline illegal, if not just straight up illegal. If you followed some guy around and essentially bullied him into like almost suicide, there would be a case that you go to jail for that shit. But it's easier to do with ourselves because we don't realize we're doing it, man. And so I feel like that's kind of our mission as coaches and content creators is like, bro, stop the bullying. The cycle of abuse stops right here.
Absolutely.
Let's start at least just not harassing yourself. We can talk about the self-love and like all of that later, but let's at least stop the fucking abuse right now. Like, you need to leave this abusive domestic violence relationship with yourself and start being at least neutral. Be fucking neutral to yourself, brother, and then we can start building from there.
Good. I love it. Gents, we are at the end of a powerful discussion today, and I want you all to leave one tip. So the question I'm going to put to you is this. There's a man out there who's going through heartbreak, rejection, identity loss. We understand he's not broken. He's not done just yet, right? What is your pearls of wisdom to them? Let's start with UD. What have you got for him?
Actually, I want to hear our guest star, Andy.
Okay, well, Andy's going through this in some sense. Maybe you lead the way for this one, Andy.
Let people help you. Let people help you. Let people help you. Let people help you. I think as men, there is this strong drive to be the lone wolf. God knows I have it. Ravi knows because I reached out to him, a couple of weeks ago. But there is this strong drive to just say, it's fine. It's fine. I got this. I should be okay. Understand that to some extent, that is your beautiful fucking ego speaking. That's not a bad thing. That ego has probably served you really well. Yes, you are capable of doing shit by yourself. You're a powerful man. Yeah, no shit, you can do it by yourself. But what you don't see is the hypothetical of like, what if I had 5 people in my corner helping me? What if I had even just one person helping me? You don't know what that timeline looks like. I'm telling you from experience, and these other guys would probably say the same. The timeline where you let other men or women or whatever help you, you get 10,000 times more done. You're 10,000 times happier. You suffer 10,000 times less. There's way less drama. And people will give you ideas and suggestions that you never could have come up with on your own. So either fucking get a coach, go find some sort of support group that's free, talk to your homies, talk to your bros, talk to your family. Fuck, if you have nobody, go make some friends. If you have no friends and you think you can't make friends, go outside, walk up to a random stranger and be like, I have nobody in the world that gives a fuck about me. Would you mind saying one nice thing to me? And the first person might be like, oh shit, fuck, I don't know how to deal with this. Fine. Go to the next person. Go cold approach strangers and be like, I have no friends. Would you be my fucking friend? I don't give a fuck what you do, but go and find someone. Don't be that lone wolf. You're just playing on nightmare mode.
I like that. That was strong. I was going to say, for me to add to that, it's the same thing working in the self-improvement and masculinity era, is that I get a lot of guys, either they're like, ego comes into play a lot. And, as men, we don't want to look like losers. As men, like, we don't want to show that we can't get laid. We'll fight you. Be like, yo, my body's better than you. I could squat better than you. I could deadlift more than you.
Deadlift more, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our King Rabbit with his 315 deadlift that won't do jack shit for him. I had to say that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Every day, this motherfucker would send me his fucking deadlifts. I'm like, dude, what? I'm tired of seeing your Indian ass deadlifting. It's not gonna do shit. So that when you come with me to the fucking boot camp, I'm not gonna embarrass him and tell this chick how much you deadlift, and let's see what she says. she ain't gonna give a fuck.
I know what they say because I had a bodybuilding friend who went through this, and he was like, I don't think my deadlift and my bench press is helping me get girls. And so he started to like overcome that. He went up to girls and started telling them how much he benched and deadlifted. The answer that they consistently said is that a lot? Like, girls don't even
No. It's true. She's like, and literally they'll I had a bodybuilder too that, he'll say it, and they're gonna be like, okay, cool. And then he'll come back to me. He's like, that's all she says. Like, yeah, you bitch. What you thought she was gonna drop? Oh my God, 300 pounds? Take me home. But let me stop being a retard. No, but it's like, put your ego aside, my man. Everybody around this world, you see, we all had problems. We all come from different parts of life. We all look different. We all come from different ages, different race. We all have our issues to deal with. I had an ego problem too, because my life was already fucked up. I didn't want to look like more of a loser, so I had to appear strong in front of other men because I wanted to be a leader. And then I realized, in order to be a true leader, you have to accept your faults, your errors, your flaws. A man who is a leader is a man who people trust, not a fucking tyrant where I tell you, go do this shit. You have to trust me in order to believe in my mission. So no matter where you come from, my brothers, my message are here for you today. You're not alone in this. And we are all in here together. But put your ego aside and open the door for an opportunity to grow.
Beautiful. You guys took the words out of my mouth. You literally took the words out of my mouth, because the things I wrote here, both Andy and you have said it. And I was like, bang, these guys have said what I was going to say. I literally wrote, you are not in this alone. That's the first thing I'd say to these brothers. I'd be like, brother, you are not alone. Because that's the biggest fear for everyone. It's like, I'm fighting this alone, and they're in their own head. And it's just like, you think these 7 billion other people are fine right now? No. Like, you think everyone else is okay out there? My bro, the biggest celebs and the people with the most status are sitting there as troubled as you are right now. But people just don't realize that. So that's the first thing I wrote. You're not in this alone. The second thing I wrote was what Andy said. Find someone to talk to. That's the key. Like, just find the first human being that's going to talk to you. If you don't want to step out the house, start tweeting about your experience, your journey. I'm feeling like this, or speak in a forum. Ravi made a lot of friends talking in a forum. Just say how you feel. Guys, I feel absolutely terrible today, and I just want to put it out there. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get through this, but I'm just going to put this here right now in the universe somewhere. I'm not just going to turn this into some positive stuff, because I don't feel positive. This is me being authentic. So find someone to talk to. Just human beings can actually help you, and you'd rarely be able to believe that, because most of depression, most of difficulty, most of these men in this difficult place, they're alone. They really are alone in every sense of the word. They go to bed alone and they feel like in their minds, they're like, I'm fighting this alone. I'm just in this dark room. And this is what I'm saying. I keep needing to emphasize. They think everyone else is fine.
No.
You think everyone's okay?
No.
You think everyone's got this shit figured out?
I'm a fucking head
I'm
case.
a young multi-millionaire who's traveled the world and done all this shit. And I'm still waking up tomorrow like, I'm kind of lost right now.
There you go, buddy.
Yep.
And that's what I need to hear. So my channel, on a lot of my channel, I'm like, guys, yes, I have a beautiful life. Yes, I have all these amazing things. Yes, I've worked hard for it. Yes, I'll continue to work every day till the day I'm dead to have a beautiful life as a man and to embrace masculinity. And I'm absolutely grateful to God and whatever other forces have given this to me. But guess what? I'm just as lost as you on some days. So I hope that makes you feel better.
Right. I'm going to also kind of echo and say one thing that's consistently, I think when you're in a dark place, you get this feeling that no one cares. I'm insignificant. I don't belong here. I don't fit in. I'm weird, whatever. And then when you start to speak to other people, you realize, wait a minute, all these people have got the exact same thing as me. Or they've been there, or they're there now, and they get it. The most powerful thing that I did for myself was just start to talk about things. You know, I never even verbalized that I was a virgin when I was struggling with that stuff. Went on Andy's forum and started talking about it. Things started changing. Started opening up. The point here is community support. Why it's so powerful is that when you start to share and you're vulnerable and you see that these people are listening, there's compassion in the world, there's human kindness in the world, that there is people sincerely who cared enough about a 30-year-old obese incel virgin that an entire community got behind me and helped me change my life, right? Because they cared. And that was hundreds of people. Yeah. And I've lived with those people and traveled the world with those people. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And back in the day, reading Andy's stuff, he did the same thing, right? Men's spaces are very sacred. We have the ability to help heal each other and to give each other impetus and drive. We can do a lot to support each other. And I'd say to someone who's in that space, find a group, find someone to be accountable to, be completely non-judgmental. That's like the ethos in anything I'm involved with is radical acceptance, radical welcomeness, ridiculous support and passion. You're allowed to have any problem. There's no limits. There's no limits to my patience. There's nothing you can say or do that's going to make me judge you, because I've done everything and no one judged me. That's what heals people. When you see I can be as busted up and broken and people still have my back. And that's true. And that's true about this world. It's true about people. It's true about the human animal. Yeah, it's a great species. It's a great world we live in. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that guys like me can make it. Yeah, and when Andy was going through his journey, yeah, people like him can have this impact. This is an incredible situation that we're all in. We're blessed to be here, and that would be my parting words of wisdom to anyone who is in that space. So, gents, we are going to wrap this one up. It was a powerful podcast, a powerful episode, and hopefully the first of many. Thank you all for being here and sharing space.
Thank you.
And coming together. I think it was a beautiful vibe and a beautiful energy. And we want to just continue doing this work and put in action out there, love, and driving excellence and performance for everyone. So thank you all for your time today. I greatly appreciate you all.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.